Barb asked me to say a few things about John and what he meant to our family. And help me ask my mom, my dad, brothers, sisters, John's nieces and nephews. And I reflected on what John might want. Which his voice was to me, "Don't be mushy, Jim." Sorry, John, I'm going to disappoint you just a little bit. So the following are some collective thoughts from our family. And on a lighter note, I discovered that Barb really wanted John in her family. And she first tested the waters by trying to set him up with my sister Lisa. Only to take a grab for him in the end. And 22 years later, look at where we are. I'm still trying to figure out the details to that, but being a guy, I'm probably not going to be let in on that. For just everyone, it was very consistent. You know, John was a big brother to all of us. He cared about you deeply, not just when you were with him, but when you had your back turned. He was a source of insight and, yes, of opinion. Well-grounded opinion, though. Many times I'd seek him out just for an inside view on something. John was a big teddy bear. He's always, when you left, you'd always get a big hug from him, and he'd always tell you, as a big tough guy, that he loved you. And you knew he was serious, that he wasn't just saying it while you were there. He was funny and entertaining. I remember, at our Stelton winter skating event this last January, he was too proud to have us come pick him up and go down a big hill. He walked down the hill, and the whole time coming down the hill, he was yakking away and just giving people crap, and people down below were giving him crap back. And once he got down below the hill, he held court, and for 3 hours' time, it was John around a big bonfire with all of us listening to him crack jokes, take shots at us, and he reminds me of a mini Don Rickles. John risked his life and his occupation to make things better for others, and we all looked up to him for that. He's a good mate for you, Barb. He was your yin to your yang, and vice versa. You guys were a great couple. He's a family man. John always talked about his family. Ethan, your job. Noah, of course, football. Leslie, Nora, Curtis, and his job. He was patient with his relatives. We have a special needs daughter who likes to pinch and grab, and she grabbed a fistful of John's chest hairs and pulled it out one time. And John just stood there and laughed and smiled. Got home at night and said, "Barb, that really hurt." And he was a friend to everyone. He's got more friends than I can ever count. What a great testament to a great human being. Some thoughts from some of the others in our family. So John's niece, London, wrote something, and she said, "Here's a few things that come to mind when I think of John." John helped Luke and I find a safe place to buy a house. He talked to us and told us which areas were safe and which ones to stay away from. He told it as it was, and genuinely cared that we find a safe place to live, instead of telling us what we wanted to hear, which was live by the cool areas downtown. On a similar note, when London was in her apartment alone, John told her, he said, "London, I told the other cops to keep an eye on this apartment." He said, "If you ever need anything, I'm just a phone call away." And you could really tell that he meant that, and he wasn't just saying it to be polite. And London felt he was always looking out for her. As a kid, she was kind of afraid of him because she knew he was a cop and he looked intimidating. But he'd always pick on her and tickle her and steal her nose and just do goofy things to interact with her. And she realized that he was just a big goofy guy and wasn't all that scary after all. London always felt that he was interested in her and what was going on in her life. He would hardly ever talk about himself. He was super humble and always put others first, especially his family. And he never bragged about his accomplishments. My mom said that John was a wonderful husband, father, stepfather, and papa. My brother Kurt John cared about family. It didn't matter who was having an issue or who needed advice. John was there. He's a straight shooter. You might not like his response, but he was honest and was looking out for our best interests, _always. He had a special relationship with Terry's son James. And James thought of him, these are his words, thought of him as a badass FBI SWAT guy as he was growing up. But he said, I found out he was just a big teddy bear. And James too said, John cared about family, not just his family of Barb, Ethan, Noah, Curtis, and Leslie, but our family. James went on to say that growing up he had 3 speeding tickets. I think it was probably more than 3. But whenever John would see him, he'd come up to him and say, I've been watching you. I'm proud of you. No more speeding tickets this last month. He said the guys always had that watchful eye out for him. He said even though there was 15 years difference in age, there was a mutual respect for one another. And then Lisa said John was not just a brother-in-law, but he was a brother. He was so protective over me and my daughter, and always made sure we were okay. Even through his stubborn ways, he had the biggest caring heart. I first met John on a date, on a group meet and greet. I don't know what that is. Yes, my sister Barb thought it would be great. We would be a great match. We met at a bar along with Barb and others. It was not in the cards for us. A few months later, Barb and John were a hot item and then married. And that's the best outcome of this story. His story's laughter and joking, and his huge hugs will be missed. Yeah, it's clear John cared about others more than himself. He was a strong man. His fight with cancer, never complained. Not one day. And I truly believe he had a will to have Barb by his side at his passing. Such so that he came back from death to give Barb one more chance to be with him and to pass. It's an unbelievable testament to his strength and his will and determination. He was taken way too soon from Barb, the kids, and all of us. However, I feel like a part of him is with us forever because of just how he just touched all of us in such a deep and memorable way. Also, I think as we pass and go to the other side, there's comfort knowing that he's going to be there. And I have to believe that he's going to be one of the first ones to greet us in heaven. And he'll do it by giving us first a big bear hug. He's second going to tell us that he loves us, and misses us. He'll probably give us a piece of hard candy and said, you're probably tired from your journey and you need something here. And then he's going to take us aside and say, hey, let me tell you something. You know that guy St. Peter over there? 90% of what he said is true. But I'm here to tell you the real story. The food in the cafeteria sucks. So here's where you need to go to get a real hamburger. And by the way, watch out for these 2 guys. And always know, I've got your back. John, rest in peace. You were a really good man. There will forever be a place in all of our hearts in memory of you and what you meant to each of us.